Senior Bowl practice is underway and has been hella fun to watch. Whether it's the one-on-ones, the team drills, it has all been must watch. And today I'm going to talk about my risers from day one and day two of the Senior Bowl. And what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. And as always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. Special thanks to today's sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. When you use promo code Broshmo, when you sign up, they will match your deposit up to $100. So remember, use promo code Broshmo when you sign up. But most importantly, remember, bet responsibly, my friends. Now, admittedly, I thought the American team practices were more fun to watch than the national team. So I'm going to have 4 national team guys and then 6 American team guys. So let's go ahead and get into this sucker with Michael Wilson from the national team. Also going to wrap this up at the end and kind of give you my brief notes over the last 2 days of practices on guys that I don't mention here in the video. These are kind of like the guys that I think that have probably maybe done the most to either solidify or raise their stock. But Michael Wilson, for a lot of people, kind of came into this as a no-name or a guy that has just been under their radar. Like for me prior, I took all the names and I made sure that I watched at least a little bit of them before I came into this. You could tell from my sleepers video, I believe Michael Wilson is a guy that I have talked about in the past because we mentioned his injury red flags. Over the last 3 seasons, he's only played 14 games. But he has been very, very good. He was turning heads all week. He really was. And he had multiple days on day one in the one-on-ones, which granted is favorable to receivers, but still it was really how he was winning. And he kind of did his buddy Caillou Blue Kelly dirty on day one with some of his moves. But he was so explosive and physical off the line of scrimmage. And he showed very crisp routes, very crisp route running on day 2. He had a nice downfield grab at the back of the end zone on sticky coverage against Riley Moss, who's one of the faster corners here. And again, it was kind of a thing of beauty. Like, I think this is a cat that might have talked his way into day 2, potentially. I kind of reeled back because, again, injury history is still a thing. You don't want to overreact too much to some of this stuff. You still want to take a bulk of their production and have that kind of be the weight to your projection on these guys. But he is certainly in the early day 3 mix. I think coming into this, I already had him as I think he was more of a mid day 3 guy. Let me go check real quick. Yeah, mid day 3 grade. So again, he was on the radar, but not to this level. 6'1", 216. He's got NFL wide receiver size. This past season, 27 receptions for 421 yards, 4 tutties. Keep in mind, did get hurt this year. But definitely a cat that turned a lot of heads. Now let's keep moving with Keanu Benton. Another cat on the national team. Again, I'm gonna talk about the national team first and then get into the American team. But 6'3", 312, had probably one of the more impressive day 1s for the position. And he came back day 2 and looked great. Like, and this is the thing, Wisconsin, I can take you to a mansion somewhere out in Wisconsin. I'm not T-Pain. I don't claim to be either. But Wisconsin basically utilized this cat really as a zero tech, a nose tackle. And here we got to see what he can do in the B cap and the 3 tech, and where he's displayed all these moves and like he can go out and get after it as a passer and or as a pass rusher. And that Wisconsin really used him as kind of like this guy that could push the pocket from the zero tech position, but they're really using him as a run stopper first. He was taught to defend the run first. So I think this did a load of help for his stock. Probably talked him into, dare I say, the 2nd round. Because we kind of have, it's kind of like you have Jalen Carter, and then there's this next tier of guys like Siaki Ika, Brian Brazee, Kalijah Cansey. You kind of like Mozzie Smith doesn't really have the production to his name, but you know he's going to test out like a freak, so he's kind of right under there. I think Keanu Benton, you got to throw his hat in the ring because like the dude produced. It's not like he didn't do anything last year at Wisconsin from that position. 28 pressures, 6 sacks. Dude's got solid length. He measured out exceptionally well. Let's go pull it up here real quick because he did come into here, I think, number 9 on my interior. Probably maybe jumps into the top 5, top 4, but almost 34-inch arms, almost 10-inch hands. So again, this cat was very, very productive. He's looked the part, even more so, and the measurables are desirable. So you love to see it. All right, on to Jayden Reed, probably outside of a receiver I will get to later on this list, the most impressive receiver performance here. Jayden Reed has really been exceptional. He accelerates off the line so well. He's very slick, like the footwork and it is really how he gets off the line. And he just flies downfield. He had the fastest, what do they call it? The speed score? I don't know, the fastest there at the Senior Bowl. And really, like, when corners let him off the line easy, and it wasn't easy sometimes guys try to come up to him and put hands on him, but he was just giving him the old okey doke. But if he was able to get just a little separation, you could kiss it goodbye. Like, he's just so quick, so tough to deal with. I'm not gonna lie, I think he's in the day 2 conversation at this point. Like, it was that good. We knew the quarterback talent back in Michigan State wasn't all that great. I don't care what you thought about, what's his name, Peyton Thrawn, I can't even remember his name. It wasn't that great. It wasn't that great for his former teammate, Jalen Naylor, though. They had a field day. That was when Michigan State kind of had their big breakout year. Mel Tucker got his big contract. This year it was kind of hard to come by. Like, the offense was very stagnant, and you can't really put that on Jayden Reed's shoulders. And he did miss some time early with injury, but came back, ended up having over 600 yards, 5 tutties. But the dude was just so unstoppable today. There was a rep here on day 2. And I'm gonna release this tonight because I want to get this out to y'all ASAP. There was a rep where he literally, it felt like he was being held. And I mean held. Like, this is blatantly gonna get flagged in the NFL. For the better part of 30 yards down the field by Jacorian Bennett, the Maryland corner, and still came up with the TD catch. Like, my dude, it was just impressive. Like, this guy's was consistently winning downfield, and I think he made a whole lot of money this week. Jayden Reed, you had to be talked about, my friend. You really did. Coming in at 5'11", 185, by the way. Probably didn't mention that, but I thought I'd at least do it at the end. All right, and then the final guy I want to talk about here from the national team is actually Caillou Blue Kelly, after I just talked about how Michael Wilson kind of sauced him in the first day of practices. And like, he took some wins and he took some losses on the first day of practices, but he was legit today. So legit. He came up with a nice pick at the end of the period where he actually ripped it away from his other teammate there, Elijah Higgins, that's right. Which, by the way, man, Elijah Higgins, there was like zero effort by him. Like, it got ripped, and then he looked like he didn't care. He quit on the play immediately. Like, not a good look. Elijah Higgins, not a good look this week thus far. But Caillou Blue Kelly, man, like, ripped it away, basically essentially took it for a pick 6. And then he almost had another pick on the 7-on-7 drills in a little bit of off zone coverage, and I think ideally that's where you use him. Like, I think you could use him in press, but I think ideally zone coverage. Like, he's at his best when he's looking at the quarterback. I love how he breaks on the ball and he hunts down the ball. You could go back to 2021 where I thought he had an extremely good back and forth against Drake London. It was one of the most physical encounters. And if you're familiar with Drake London, that is no easy fit because he is physical. He really is. But it was like probably I thought that was like that's tape you show. And it's like, I can be a star. That's tape you show. Even though, like, he had his wins, he had his losses. But it kind of sucks because, like, the corner, it's a very good corner class. So it's like, I'm probably bumping him up, but not much. He's coming in at 6 foot, 193 head. No interceptions this year, 9 pass breakups. But the previous season, let me pull up 2021, which I felt like was a little bit better. For him, he had, where are you at, Mr. Caillou? No, that's your background. That's still your background. There we go. He had 6 pass breakups and 2 interceptions. No penalties last season, 4 this year. But I think he's probably solidified that whole, if he goes in day 2, it's like, yeah, they got a corner. If he falls to like 4th round, then it's like, hey, you got a corner at a great value. That's kind of where he's at right now. It was a very good performance by him. So let's go ahead and move on to the American team by first talking about Tajay Spears. He's the best running back here. Rashawn Johnson, unfortunately, broke a bone in his hand early in practices on day 1. Still played through the whole practice, but then was like, yeah, all right, well, we're shutting her down. I had a pretty good showing, and he looked good. He's another guy that I think he kind of solidified that maybe late day 2, early day 3 stock. But Tajay Spears is going to be probably top 5 on a lot of people's running back boards. He had an extraordinary day. Like, he showed that speed, he showed acceleration, explosiveness, legitimately home run threat. He might be, I say might be, he is the best running back there. He took multiple balls to the house. My gosh, he really did. Sitting there at 5'9". I'm glad he came in at weighing 204 because, like, low key, this is a guy that does want to get physical if he can. If you go back, watch his tape, but I can't wait to the actual game and really get to see him. But he had close to 1,600 yards rushing this year, 21 total touchdowns. But he took multiple balls to the house. He took a swing route to the house. He took, I think, 2 different runs to the house. One was a cutback, which he had actually a very nice block from Warren McClellan, who kind of combo blocked. He helped out with the double team, and then immediately looked to the second level and then just crushed a guy. So McClellan, hey man, low key, like McClellan, like not spectacular in terms of like his physicality and whatnot, but just solid all around. Like that's a cat that's probably not going to go in the first 3 rounds, but he's going to fall somewhere in round 4, round 5 and find a good landing spot. But like Spears, I think made a lot of money, and this is just a great running back class. Like, it really is. And I don't know how you can walk away and saying like he is not top, at least top, I would say 7 running back in this class. Like, I'm gonna be shuffling those running back rankings, man. I really am. All right, next on the list here is Tank Dell. He's been the best receiver here. He really has. Like, no one's putting a hand on him. He's that quick. He's just nasty. Listen, I get it. The size is not ideal, but he's got plus arm length. Like, he hits that 30-inch threshold you want to see. He's got a 6-foot wingspan, so this is a guy that can attack the football. It's just you look at 5'8", 163, and it's like, crap, man, I don't love that size. And that's fair. That's fair, but stop start ability, elite. Speed, alluring. He has been very good at running routes. He's just, again, unguardable day 1, and day 2 was basically rinse and repeat. He had almost over 1,400 yards, had 17 touchdowns this past year. He also had a punt return, TD. So there you go. There's another guy that can bring return experience, but this is a dude that can separate, that can be that vertical threat over the top, but he's also a cat that can create after the catch. Let's take a quick look at what his forced missed tackles number was this year, as it was 19. It was 19. I'm looking here at my Google spreadsheet, and when I highlight something in green, that means, ooh, boy, that's good. I feel like I'm doing a Mr. Poopy Butthole impression. Ooh-wee. Oh, man. Sucks that show's going to be over. All right, so let's keep this sucker moving with Marte Mapu. He's a guy that I've just been raving about since the NFLPA Bowl, and he's looked exceptionally good today in 7-on-9 drills. He's come downhill with a head of steam. He has shown the physicality to play in the box. He had nasty hits on Kenny McIntosh and Eric Gray. And it wasn't just that. Like, they weren't just using him at safety either. When they had the full team practices there near the end of practice, they actually had him there as like a sub-package linebacker on a few snaps, and there was a nice play where he broke downhill to break up a pass to Cameron Latu, and again lined up at linebacker. So teams are gonna love this dude's versatility. Like, I might have this guy a lot higher than the consensus, but here at 6'2", 217, good box safety size. He's got better range than you anticipate. He is the longest, and I mean the longest guy here. The arm length, desirable. The wingspan, undeniable. You like I kind of did a Cody Rhodes there thing with it. It's probably lost on some of y'all. But yeah, no, I'm still a big fan, and I imagine he might make this list tomorrow. All right. We got Wanya Morris, offensive tackle at Oklahoma. Talked about him yesterday with the measurements as well, but he had a solid day, showed real quick feet, had a real good rep day one that was circulating on Twitter quite a bit against Dylan Horton, where, again, the hand usage could have been better at the end. It kind of like, as the rep went longer, it resulted in a hold as Horton went for a dip. But the tools are there, and day two, man, he literally shut down Derek Hall, who's having also another guy having a good week. On consecutive reps, Wanya Morris is a day two guy. There, I said it. Maybe I'm jumping the gun here, but I think he's a day two guy. 6'5", 317. Played well this year once he got into the lineup. Again, he kind of has that weird kind of like a legitimate bell curve where started out his career at Tennessee. The freshman season was just so delicious. And then kind of like second year was kind of like whatever. Then he transfers to Oklahoma, doesn't play. Then he plays his final year and was initially academically ineligible, but finished it real strong. So again, a weird kind of bell curve there, but I thought he's looked exceptionally strong this week. All right. On to Will McDonald. Had a farm. E-I-O. Again, still thin, 6'3", 241. Still thin, but dude's got incredible length. Really, really does. And he was darn near unguardable in the one-on-ones currently. He really is. His explosiveness and quicks is just too hard to deal with. Really is. It's been a consistent problem. I think he had a win on Darnell Wright, who a guy who was having a heck of a week, had a win on him. Like, I think there were very few cases where he didn't win, and you're probably gonna. I think he's kind of solidified a second round status. Like, he kind of has the Arnold Ebiketie feel from last year, that where he can maybe be an early second rounder, but he has been pretty good, pretty extraordinary. And keep in mind, man, Iowa State wasn't deploying this guy kind of like outside the tackle. He was playing those three-man fronts, those pesky three-man fronts in the Big 12, where he was typically, a lot of times, lining up over top or inside of the tackle. So wasn't being utilized probably to in the best position there for the Cyclones. But man, nah, I've came away really impressed. And like, you look at his frame, how lengthy I guess he is, and he could definitely fill that out. I think he really can. And then the final guy on my list here is Osiris Torrance. And you might be like, Riser. I was like, and that's why I kind of prefaced at the earlier video. Riser, or guys who kind of solidified their stock. This dude's a first rounder. If he goes inside the top 20, I'm not shocked. Like, he had plenty wins and losses the first day of practice. And I made this stupid comment yesterday where I was like, man, they were even playing him at tackle, and I forgot his teammate, Richard, was it Gorage? I think it's something like that. Gorage was there. And yeah, whoops, I mixed them up. It happens. I said it in my video yesterday, and I'm going ahead and I'm retracting that statement. But Torrance did it like you could say, okay, he came in 10 pounds lighter, looked good. He had some wins, had some losses. I don't think he had a loss at all today. He was unbeatable. He was a legitimate stone, a mountain. Nobody was hiking this. No one was making it past Mount Osiris Torrance. And like, he looked good in the run drills as well. And again, this cat, I really think he kind of solidified that first round stock, that he's the top interior guy. He's in a tier by himself. And then we could talk about the next group. And then of course, I want to finish the video off talking about just going through some of my notes and giving y'all just kind of like an overview of what I saw here the last 2 days. And when it comes to the national team, Jake Haener, he is the top quarterback, easy. I had him over guys like Malik Cunningham and Jaron Hall, but I think there's actually probably a good chance that Haener is probably the best quarterback here. No, that might not be saying much, that all these guys are day 3 options, but Haener's ball placement's been really good. He had a really nice throw over the middle in 7-on-7s to Davis Allen, who, side note, Davis Allen looks more athletic than I expected. Maybe Daniel Jeremiah ain't so crazy, but I was like, dang. So I want to give him some respect. Also, if you didn't know, the cat that replaced Rashawn Johnson was SaRodorick Thompson Jr. Let me check. I think he came from the NFL PA Bowl. Let me go confirm this. Yes, in fact, he did come from the NFL PA Bowl. So just quick note, that's who kind of like replaced him. Pukanuka, didn't see too much day 2. I don't really remember much of him on day 2. So much so that I feel like I'm gonna have to go back, and because I now question, was he even there? So interesting. But in the first day of practices, like, he's not fast, but he's smooth. Like goodness gracious, he really is. And he showed good body control. I know that there was that clip on Twitter of him really like switching to the outside after running a route with inside leverage, and he goes to move to the outside, and I think it was against either Julius Brants or Tyreek Stevenson. It was one of the two. But you saw that, I was like, hey, that's solid, man. I think he kind of like solidified maybe a potential early day 3. DeJuan Jones, we kind of already know, man. This cat was eating. Ryan Hayes, this dude has been struggling against power all week for Michigan. I am starting to think, I don't think I have a bias against Michigan tackles. I think Michigan tackles just aren't that good. Like, obviously, this is a cat that's probably going to get drafted, so obviously he's good to a point, but yeah, no, he struggled against power. He got popped by Isaiah Foskey, and then he struggled against Keon White. Literally, White just ate his lunch. We also have Blake Freeland, who, man, oh man, he's not having the Abraham Lucas Senior Bowl. I'll just say that. Like, he's had some nice wins, But then he's had some really ugly losses, unfortunately. Yaya Diaby gave him the work on an outside-inside move. I don't know. I don't even think Freeland got a hand on him. Cody Mock is a guy that has looked very good on day 2, and he is like day 2 of practice, and he is literally lined up everywhere. So he's had a very impressive, I would say, 2 days. He looked much more comfortable playing inside, as like, he kind of naturally lacks that girth right now, that weight to consistently play interior. But I think today he did a better job of resetting that anchor. He had some nice wins. Keon White has been moved all over the line and has just been consistently getting pressure. Isaiah Foskey's done a really nice job of using his length, hitting with pop. Again, he had the one rush where he put Ryan Hayes on his butt, man. But I thought he showed a good motor, no quit on some of the team drills. Carl Brooks, man, consistently winning at the point of attack. Big fan. He was a little more quiet on day 2, but day 1 looked so good. We talked about Keanu Benton. Dion Henley has been phenomenal. Dude looks jacked, first of all, but he has been everywhere. Like, he was one of the few linebackers having no problems covering running backs. Like, I think he's made some money here this week, moving to the American team. I think Max Duggan has the edge there. Clayton Tune was like fine, but Max Duggan, as practice went on in day 2, as he was starting to get like the verbiage down, like the learning curve was getting better and better, and he ended off looking extremely good in a 2-minute drill, where he should have had a touchdown to end it, but we'll talk about who dropped that touchdown a little bit later. Tyson Bagent, there we go. He was all over the place. He was another guy that was having trouble with the play calling, and like, he probably has the best zip of the guys, actually probably of all the guys here at quarterback. But like, you saw the learning curve and you saw the accuracy was just so hit or miss. Still a guy that maybe at the back end of day 3, maybe. We did talk about yesterday, Kenny McIntosh left because of cramps on day 1. He did return today, and unfortunately had that fumble where Aubrey Miller took advantage of him stumbling. But I thought McIntosh looked fine today. He was up there, but Tajay Spears definitely stole the show. Chris Rodriguez really showed off his vision in 7-on-9 drills. And then we got Andre Yoshivas. I had a great day 1. Looked big, looked fast, had some nice catches. He had a nice catch on day 2, which was actually an incompletion, but he went up and he contended the catch point with Tyreek Stevenson, who was playing him exceptionally well, and actually came down with the ball. So I was like, man, you love seeing that concentration of the catch point. But then he was the guy that had the bad drop in the 2-minute drill. That would have been a touchdown. It was like over his shoulder and just bounced off his hands, and he just couldn't reel it in. But overall, I thought he's been solid. I think he kind of warrants an early day 3 grade. Rashid Rice has really struggled with separation, but he's looked good in traffic. I think he's been doing a good job of separating at the top of routes. But I think some people need to reel off on the first round hype. Darius Davis, listen, I get it. The measurements weren't great, and I kind of talked about he's probably undraftable. I don't know. Maybe someone takes a shot at him at the back end of day 3, because this dude was finding the soft spots in defenses, like in coverage, and he was making catches in traffic. He took a mean hit that like shot his helmet off. All right, who else do I got here? Will Mallory. My only note of Will Mallory was Will Mallory equals drops. which we know he had a ball skill problem, but he's had a few drops here. Done all right. He came in bigger than anticipated, but still moving exceptionally well. I talked about Warren McLennan having that nice combo block that broke Tajay Spears on one of those plays. Steve Avila, he has been the best looking TCU prospect here. He has been exceptionally stout. He does not give up ground, and even quicker pass rushers that try to like put moves on him, like he's just hard to get around, and he's been really good. Isaiah McGuire, he's been remote or for the most part quiet, but he showed some good quicks. Despite his size, actually, let's look what he weighed in at, because initially Missouri listed him at 275. I think he came in a little lighter. No, 271. Okay, so not much lighter. But he showed some good quicks. He had a good spin move on Richard Gorag, not Osiris Torrance playing tackle, but Richard Gorag. Nice spin move that where he got held at the end of it. So that was nice. Zach Pickens, he's looked strong. He's looked explosive. He's kept it up through 2 days, which consistency was a big issue when it came to his tape there at South Carolina. And honestly, him and John Michael Schmitz feel like they've been matched up a ton, and they've had some of the best back and forths. Like, I think both players have come, like, win or lose. Like, they were coming out looking better. Here we got Sir Vassier Dennis. He was owning the pass protection drills versus running backs. You could also throw Ivan Pace. He was unstoppable. Like, this dude was getting after the quarterback. But obviously, I think with Dennis, he's just got the better length and the better size. Julius Brants was a big winner day one. We talked about him. Tyreek Stevenson was blanketing guys all week. He's really been throwing the high risk, high reward, guessing where guys will go and meeting them there. And it's kind of paid off this week for him. And I think that's all. You know, I could throw a few other guys out there. Jamie Robinson, I thought, has been everywhere. So despite the less than ideal measurements, he's looked good. He's gonna be my safety 3. There. Sidney Brown's looked exceptionally good as well. This dude's flying all over the field, man. Golly. And actually, Chase Brown's looked good in pass protection. Like, he's got a complete skill set. I just don't think he's that dynamic of a back. But that's it for the video. That's really all I want to talk about. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing. And as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.